Hey students, so this video will be talking about the 5 great ideas in American public administration. Idea number 1, which is honest, nonpartisan, and business-like government. So this will not be a long video. I think that most students can get most of the gist about it, so this will not take a long time. Now the core concept of idea number 1 is that the foundational idea in American public administration is that government, of course, should be administrative honestly, efficiently, and free from any kind of partisan influence, Republicans or Democratic influence. The principle emerged as a reaction to the widespread corruption and inefficiency that characterized a spoils system, which is mentioned in the article about it. Late 19th century, late 19th century, mid to late 19th century, yes. But the crux is this. In 1881 or 1882, your professor's not 100% sure about that, but President James Garfield was assassinated while waiting for a train by a would-be a job seeker. And this job seeker was very disappointed. At that time, of course, we didn't really have Secret Service as we do today. And so the president was just standing by himself at the train station. Someone came up to him, this young man who was very disgruntled, that did not get a job. That was, again, it seems, appeared promised to him for some kind of donation of campaign money, or that he knew some campaign friend of his. And he shot James Garfield in the head. He assassinated the U.S. president because he didn't get the job he wanted, or he didn't get any job. Interesting enough, that caused such a shock wave of people that they had to set up the Pendleton Act in 1887 that mandated there'd be a meritocracy, a merit way to hire people and to go ahead and run the government in a more businesslike, efficient, and non-partisan manner to make it fair for everybody. So, of course, this goes back also to Andrew Jackson. Some of you may know him by the $20 bill that may be sitting in your wallet right now, right? Andrew Jackson, he had quite a corrupt presidency. A very, very corrupt presidential administration. He was primarily well known in historical terms as the architect of the spoils system, meaning that you gave him money, you got a job in D.C., or you got other political favors, less regulation, or favorable laws passed. Seems like not much has changed. Possibly, some people might argue that's maybe true. That may be a fair criticism. So the result, of course, was rampant corruption, inefficiency, particularly, of course, as government responsibilities kept growing with more urbanization and industrialization. America was simply, we were getting too big. We were getting, more and more immigration. Listen, everybody wanted to come here. We can't have this kind of, thinking, this kind of third world corruption. We just can't have that. We have to get something have to get getting better. The sewers have to be cleaned properly. The streets have to be orderly. The trains have to run on time. We have to have these things. So it came down to the assassination of President Garfield that finally there was motivation that things have to change. Now, reformers in the late 19th and early 20th century, meaning late 1800s, early 1900s, especially to what's called the progressive era, they responded for advocating for professional nonpartisan civil service. The goal was, of course, to curb waste and dishonesty and to ensure the government could meet the needs of a growing complex society. Does that sound familiar? It should. It should sound familiar. To reduce waste and corruption and dishonesty and to... It sounds familiar. It should. So Pendleton Act, which I apologize, I gave you the wrong date. The Pendleton Act was actually established in 1883, not 1887. 1883, it established a merit-based, neutral and bipartisan civil service commission, laying the groundwork for today's professional bureaucracy. This act was a direct response to the abuses of the spoils system and aimed to ensure that the public jobs were filled based on ability rather than on political connections. Does this also sound familiar? It should. It should sound familiar. Administrative reforms, codes of ethics, and legal requirements were introduced, demanding that public service be provided openly, honestly, fairly, and without any discrimination. Sounds familiar? Again, I know you're probably tired of hearing me say that, but that kind of Yeah, it does sound familiar, right? Uh, the expectation became that bureaucrats act within the law, not as a law unto themselves, even if this sometimes led to inefficiency, red tape, as a trade-off of fairness and accountability, meaning we're going to check everything, make sure everything's on the up and up, and then we'll issue the permit to you. Not before, even if your dad owns Chevron or whatever, ConocoPhillips, I don't know, the local Buc-ee's, whatever it is, we're not going to give you the permit. We have to go through the process. Separation of politics and administration. This is probably one of the most important ideas of idea number one that you should really know about, because this is what President Woodrow Wilson made his whole career on, basically. President Wilson, for those of you who may or may not know this, was actually a professor at one time at Princeton University. And later on, he became the President of the United States. Maybe the only professor who did that. I don't know. Maybe. But he argued for a very clear policy distinction between policy making, which was politics, and policy implementation, which was the administration. That you can't have too many chefs in the soup. It should not mix together. There's policy, and there's policy making, and there's policy implementation. They're not the same thing. We are not the same. He said, and this is one of his famous articles, one of the seminal articles in public administration, which was that it should be guided by principles of business-like management and scientific methods. Woodrow Wilson was a big stickler about this. And when he first wrote the article, it came out, I think, somewhere around after the Pendleton Act was passed. This was something that was like a big deal. And it's a very famous article in public administration. I don't know if he made his whole career on it, but sometimes professors do that, actually. There is neither Democratic or Republican way to build a road. Just the right way. Whatever that right way is. Efficiency, scientific management, nonpartisanship. This reflected the movement's two main directions: personal neutrality and improved efficiency, especially at the local level, because all politics is local. All politics is local. So all policies, therefore, probably should start at the local level. It's the biggest secret that a lot of people don't think about, but all politics really is local. The impact and legacy, of course, the city manager model and business-like approach to municipal government. Municipal government, of course, plays a city of ours like Houston, spread rapidly early 20th century. Despite ongoing public skepticism about bureaucratic competence, the idea of honest, efficient, and nonpartisan administration remains central to the field. Later developments such as the public choice school, for example, public choice school, which recently, I believe the Texas legislature just passed a law for public vouchers, which begins, I think, in next fall. They continue this tradition by emphasizing objective rules and the importance of stable, fair processes for public decision making. So all of this, you can see, connects back to idea number one, which is what we covered in this video. So, in essence, idea number one established the expectation that American public administration should be professional, it should be ethical, it should be efficient, which draws on business practices and scientific management, while remaining insulated from political patronage and corruption. This idea laid the groundwork for the modern civil service, which still exists today and continues to shape debates about the role and conduct of government officials. So, I will see you next time on idea number 2.